Friends, welcome back to episode number 4 of Backflash Fridays with Marcus Sawyer. Happy Friday. How are you guys doing? Now, for the newcomers, those early birds, we're going to toss you the worm because Marcus is going to perform, by popular demand, again, the song Going Clear, which has got to be the song, other than perhaps Hotel California by the Eagles, that captures what it's like being in a cult. And this is dedicated to the members, the family members that have lost their lives, to the Purification program and the Narconon program, which we'll be covering in detail after this gorgeous, gorgeous song. Marcus, whenever you're ready, hit it, sir.
Oh, shit. Okay, let me turn this volume up.
Damn it. Sorry, guys. I mean, he just spent the last 20 minutes preparing and he wasn't ready to go.
You're desperate, degraded ego. I was fine. I just need to turn the volume back up. Desperate, degraded, ego inflated mind. Looking for something to eat up your money and time. Well, maybe you can keep your head up without your spine. We'll make a decision. We'll give you some pockets to mine. And I can't say what keeps us here. And I can't say what keeps us here. No, I won't say why we're still here. Well, what do I believe? And what am I supposed to believe? Nothing but time. But nothing comes to my mind. But one day, yeah, someday, it'll all be clear. Well, being together is better than saying goodbye. Just look at the people walking around outside. I'm no good to you if I can't see with my own two eyes. Walking in circles, the blind leading the blind. And I can't say what keeps us here. No, I can't say why I'm still here. No, I won't say why I'm still here. Well, what do I believe? And what am I supposed to believe? Nothing but time. But nothing comes to my mind. And one day, someday, it'll all be clear. Well, what is true? Or what's true for you? And what is real? Did you forget how to feel? You need to eat, beg, borrow, and steal. Well, none of it matters. Your life is in shatters. Bred like a pig and reality shattered. I can't say why I'm still here. No, I can't say why I'm still here. No, I can't say why I'm still here. What do I believe? What am I supposed to believe? Got nothing but time, but nothing comes to mind. And one day, someday, it'll all be clear.
Hell yeah. Welcome, friends. If you're just joining us, this is Backflash Fridays. Damn it, I had the loop all set. Check this out, bro. Welcome to Backflash Fridays, friends. That was our little intro called Going Clear. You can pick that up at what? Target, Walmart, and other leading stores? Soon,
Yes.
though, right? Yes.
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Today's subject is the very controversial Narconon/Purification Rundown. And just to show you guys real quick where that lies on Scientology's quote-unquote bridge to total freedom, let me pull this up and then we'll deep dive into this subject. Now, I've done, Marcus, how many times did you do their program?
Well,
That's what got you into it, right?
I twinned with people sometimes, which means in Scientology you have to partner up with someone else to do the same thing that you're doing. It's a clever little way to get multiple sales for
Indeed.
people. But anyways, yeah, I did it once for myself, and Travis did it as well. We did our Purif together. It was we were twins, and we looked like twins.
Yeah, you actually do. It's at
Yeah,
the very
so
bottom of the bridge
bottom.
here, guys.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's literally the very
Your
beginning
worm
of when
food.
you start the auditing. Yeah, but what do you, Marcus? I would hypothesize that it's actually designed to break you down to prepare you for the rest of the bridge to
There's
fuck
some
your body
really
up.
interesting shit just looking at it again,
Isn't
looking
there?
at the bridge, like
That's what I was thinking.
as far as neurolinguistically and body stuff, and yeah, that whole chart of a gradation chart of a human and like layers of a human. It's really
how
trippy.
to break down a human. You know, it was pointed out to me by this guy named Eric Hunley on the Unstructured podcast when we were talking about the Purif, and he's like, that sounds like an initiation ritual. That sounds like it's designed to break down your body.
In a way, it really is.
Oh, absolutely.
Really is, yeah.
Marcus, I did it 3 times. I did it once when I was young, a second time when I wasn't taking Scientology seriously because my parents still hadn't got me. So I would smoke weed in the car and then I would go in and do the Purif. And I that's the way I did the whole thing the second time. And I got on their e-meter and I passed, no problem, because I thought happy thoughts, but I was scared shitless that day, bro. And then the third one
you learned you could fool a meter.
Yeah, but I didn't actually pick up on it then. I thought I kind of got lucky. I knew you could think happy thoughts to get the floating needle. And to the audience, that's what we're going for, guys. That's what the person's looking for, is that you pass the drill or whatever. I just figured it was a fluke. I knew you could kind of think happy thoughts and pass it, but nonetheless, dude, I was like shaking. I can't believe they didn't pick up on it. And then the third one, around 20 or 21 years old, that pot committed to Scientology, as you guys know the story. And so it's weed that actually got me, onto this fucking thing. I'll show you something here real quick too, guys, because it came up yesterday in the Daddy Masterson trial about how many times have we talked about how important, how bad weed is. Was that on your radar, Marcus, as a Scientologist? Because that's certainly what I was programmed into since a child. And it is the thing that got me into Scientology. Did you know that weed in particular was bad, and drugs and shit in Scientology?
When I got involved with it, I had stopped smoking weed and I was convinced that I had some laced weed. So like I was very much against it. Like and there had actually been a time earlier than that in my life where I had the pot scare fever shit. Travis probably remembers the concert we went to. They were sneaking. They were so nice to me because I was like, I think I went to rehab the first time I was 13 or 14. It was right after I met Travis. Him and his family came to the rehab facility, but I had checked myself in for weed, but I had been doing all kind of other stuff. So
I see.
I had some like bad opinions about cannabis early, and from experience too, you know. So I wanted it out of my system.
Yeah, me too.
I wanted it out of my system.
But
All of it.
my point being is that Scientology makes it like a very, very big deal not to do weed. So check this out. This came up yesterday, and this is Tony's reporting, and this came up in the Danny Masterson trial. And this is one of the Jane Does that is speaking here. And at the very beginning, or actually towards the end, it's a long story, and we're going to get into it when we do Marcus's 2-hour story on Saturday tomorrow. Because we're going to talk about some of these people like Cedric and Mars Volta and this whole Scientology clique. But what got her into getting her boyfriend? Let's see, where is it? So here it is. She says yesterday, you testified previously, and this is either the DA or the prosecutor, says you testified previously that the reason you brought Cedric, that's one of the Scientology celebrities that was in the cult that we'll talk about later,
right,
to the church was to help him smoke less marijuana. And then this is what she says: he's an evil pot smoker. And in my mind, that was the out ethics, that I was being reasonable, that my husband would smoke around marijuana. I know it sounds crazy, my friends, but this was what was in my head. And I thought this was the equivalent of doing crack. And in Scientology, and she goes on to say, and in Scientology, you don't smoke marijuana. And I thought that was why I pulled in losing my baby. And I thought that's why. So that's the seriousness of it. That's freaking crazy. And then the very next thread on that, Jane Doe 3 ends her testimony yesterday in tears. And Holly says the Purification Rundown, it was helpful to him. And Jane Doe 3 says he believes so. Yes, he was in the band Mars Volta. So I just wanted to show you that it really is a serious thing when you smoke pot in Scientology. And what we do to handle that is the very first step that you saw, called the Purification Rundown. Now, they have another way where they hornswoggle the public and out of thousands and thousands of dollars, and sometimes costing their lives, with something called Narconon. Would you like to explain what that is, Marcus?
Narconon is a if you believe what they say on the front face of their,
and we'll show something. We'll show a video after you explain it. I got that. Yeah.
They say that it's what Narconon is a rehab facility for people who are going through bad heroin or having drug addiction problems, and that they have a staff there who are equipped to provide drug counseling, grief counseling, lifestyle changes, and room and board and food and all that stuff. It's an inpatient facility for people recovering from drugs, and for the untrained eye, people can easily be and it's not, you don't have to be stupid, you know. It's not, so if you don't know about it, you don't know about it. It's just a name, Narconon. And you could easily send your child or your friend off to what's going to end, what could likely end them being a staff member or involved in Scientology. Maybe. Can
I just interject real quick, Marcus, because you made a good point? He picked the word Narconon on purpose to sound like Al-Anon or Narcotics Anonymous.
Of course. Yeah.
So that you would get it mixed up.
I mean, he's a linguistics,
exactly.
If you read his references and you go and you study Scientology, for whatever reason you might study it, like, you'll find that like there are little hooks in linguistics that he uses all the time. So there's no reason to think that wouldn't apply to this, because they use his policies and stuff.
Exactly. Well. And Travis, it's good to see you. That's Marcus's brother, and he also did the Pure. They did the Pure.
It was a together small price. Yeah, he came 2 weeks after me, but I had a heavy, what they call a heavy drug case.
Right. And, you would have.
Yeah.
We covered that.
Well, I mean, even medical professionals are like, you're a heavy drug case. Like,
yeah, and we covered that openly in your first 2 interviews, and we'll go deeper into that. So you make no bones about that. Marcus, real quick, I just want to point out that Angela makes a good point, because people have asked about this. There's 3 drug steps on the grade chart. At the bottom, you saw the Purification Rundown. That's what we're going to take you through with the Sweat Lodge. And we're going to show you the pros and cons. We're going to show you Tampa Brad versus Reckless Ben's reporting of it and everywhere in between. We'll pretend, that we haven't done it and we're unbiased, and we'll let you make up your mind as to what you think this is and why there's so many divergent opinions. I'm going to show you some reviews where it shows people at Narconon Arrowhead praising it, and then there was 3 high-profile deaths in 2013 regarding that. So the next one that you do is the drug rundown. That's a little higher up, and that's an auditing process on the lower bridge. And then the next one you do is OT4. That's way up there on the confidential levels, and that's the drug rundown where after OT3, where you find out you have all these invisible beings on your body that you have to telepathically get rid of via an e-meter in your bedroom every day, you find out that those beings that you got rid of on that level actually were druggies. You couldn't contact them on OT3, and now you can contact them. So you're literally telepathically communicating with beings to get rid of their drug problems on the confidential levels. Oh my God. Thank God I didn't get up to that one, Marcus, because I remember
I wanted to do the DRD so bad. That's what.
Oh, you didn't do it?
No, but all of my resources that I had available went to it because I wanted to do
that
the
was
DRD.
your next. That was your next
Yeah,
one. Cult Ball, what's up? It's so good to see this person. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to her channel, she breaks down every cult. It's an amazing channel. Please check it out.
Vault, yeah.
I appreciate how you break stuff down for people without assuming everyone tuning in. Thanks. And you as well. I absolutely love your work, my friend.
I'll have to check that out.
Okay, Marcus, let's start off by showing people Scientology's version of kind of what they say it is. And I went ahead and I've got to be really careful with copyright, guys, just because I'm absolutely paranoid. So we have to pause and jump in to make sure. Yeah, but even this, Marcus, I got taken down for running 2 minutes of a Saturday Night Live clip. So we have to apparently jump in. We can't just run this straight through. But anyways, this is Scientology's version, and then we'll take it from here. It's really boring, guys, but, just bear with me.
This should be fine. This is fair use.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Drug abuse tears families apart, wrecks marriages, and even devastates whole communities. And the problem doesn't just end with street drugs like heroin and cocaine.
No, it doesn't.
Prescription drug use is at an all-time high.
It sure is.
And the effects of medical and psychotropic drugs can be every bit as disastrous.
Deadly.
With side effects that are worse than the original problem. Depression, violence, and even suicide.
And death.
Even so-called mild drugs like marijuana actually physically make the brain waste away.
Hey man, could you smoke later? I'm trying to study here and the smoke's really
That's
hot.
you, Marcus.
What?
No, that's you,
It even looks like you, dude.
Worse still, for those lucky enough to make it out, drug problems don't stop when people stop taking drugs.
This is all gold productions here.
Results from that market.
Yep, that's why it's so slick.
Stacy.
Slick. It looks like
Stacy.
It
The
looks
accumulated
corny.
effects of
It's
drug
bad.
taking.
But these are just as slick and bad as normal commercials.
I know.
Television,
Yeah.
can leave a person both physically and mentally impaired,
I'm sorry, what was the question?
even long after they have taken them. To understand how this could be, you must realize that
Okay, now here's the key point where they jump into the pseudoscience. So pay attention to this, and we're going to see the pros and cons later, because this is the theory that it's based on right here.
drugs are essentially poisons. And in addition to their immediate effects, it's been discovered that they don't entirely leave the body. Drug residues lodge in the fatty tissues, and they can remain there for years. Furthermore, those deposits can get dislodged and go back into action in the bloodstream, causing you to re-experience their effects time and time again.
Stacy. Stacy.
Even residues from medicinal drugs, such as Novocaine, diet pills, and other toxic substances, such as pesticides, can get lodged in the tissues of the body and become reactivated years later. To make matters worse, the physical and mental reactions to drug withdrawal can be an agonizing experience.
Okay, so after you got that, guys, right? They're claiming that, well, we're going to get into that in a minute, but they're claiming that your drugs, your sunburns, everything stays in your fatty tissue. So after this guy gets converted and comes to his pops and they have a come to Jesus moment,
No, withdraw safely from.
they decide then to do some Scientology. And if you're in the Narconon program, you would do objective processes and then the Pure, which I'll show you here real quick.
These, combined with specific nutritional supplements, will ease the symptoms and make their drug withdrawal possible with the minimum of discomfort. Once that has been achieved, Scientology organizations offer a
See how he's touching shit, guys? That's the TRs and objectives, now known as survival rundown. So this is what they freaking do in Narconon. Their parents paid $30,000 to do the course, right? And they're literally just touching objects at the beginning before they do this sweat lodge shit. It comes straight out of Scientology.
Well,
And it does
we
nothing
did
to
it
help.
during, but
Oh, you did it during. You kind of would go
Yeah.
back and forth between the objective
yeah, as
processes.
needed. You get locationals as needed. They're
I see,
called
that's right.
locationals. What that
Right.
was displaying was someone doing an assist,
Mhm.
which is sort of, there's a locational assist where you, okay, look at that thing. Okay, touch that thing. Okay, thank you. And whatever, you look at stuff.
Right.
And
right.
and actually,
What's
from
it
a
supposed to do, Marcus? Yeah.
well, I've run this through a psychologist, a couple of psychologists, some psychiatrists. So what it does is it just diverts your attention
Exactly.
away from things,
Exactly.
away from things.
And that
Like,
can be helpful, and you can
when
feel like you're coming
when
into
you do it
present time.
repetitively like that, and every time someone has a problem, you do that. What you're doing is you're conditioning someone to ignore their fucking problem.
That is a great fucking point. I don't want to pick it up from there, but first I have to have a
You
word
can
with
do that
Robert.
in a positive way, but the way that
Listen,
it's done
listen.
here is not,
You're
obviously.
great point. We have to sort Hubbard first here. First of all, sir, welcome from Target 2. I have no idea how you're beaming yourself in, but it's always a pleasure to see you.
Hip,
That
hip.
guy is so funny, by
He
the
is
way.
funny.
He is so funny. So let's continue with this gibberish.
Okay.
a purification program, an effective method to cleanse the body of these unwanted substances. It's a well-supervised routine
Gotta
of
have the
exercise,
diversity.
sauna,
Yep.
and nutrition
Exactly.
done on a precise personal
Racially
schedule.
correct.
Yep.
Over the course of the program, the chemical residues in the body
I'm
are
just
broken up,
imagining.
released from the
Well,
fatty
clearly this was shot like it before like 2015, let's say, because they did not include the LGBT community. There would
Well,
have
that
been
shot of
some-
them in the sauna, and the girls like making that face. She's like, oh fuck, oh fuck.
She's like, if my parents see me that I'm in this Scientology commercial and I got paid $200 for it, they're gonna fucking kill me.
tissues and flushed out of the body through the pores.
Ugh.
Once your body is cleansed of these toxic substances,
He's like, I hope I get laid later. Anyways, that's the basic idea.
Totally.
He's so funny. By the way, I did some of these, my friends, and thank God you can't find them on the internet. They got scrubbed a long time ago, but I did several films for Gold where you just have to do the most cheesy shit. That one's actually pretty good comparatively. Okay, so now you see the theory about what they say. So let me pull up, before we get to Tampa Brad, I got to save the best for last. Well, let me show you here real quick that we have on the channel after this. If you want to go to the podcast SPTV Live, we did do a whole breakdown with a gal who worked there. It's a very intense video called Narconon, Scientology's Most Insidious Front Group, with Samantha Broom, who was an executive there and has a horrible escape story. So check that out.
Damn.
For further information. But let's see, where should we go next here? Okay, so let me show you what Scientology, kind of what they say the program's about, and then we'll start taking it apart. So let's see. Takes a minute to pull these up, guys. So Marcus, can you help me fill the dead air for God's sakes? Jesus. Okay, here we go. I got it. So this is we'll do the outro on your music. So this obviously isn't from Scientology, but it gives a breakdown of what is.
Look at how certain he is.
I know. Look at that.
That's what
terrifying.
certainty looks like. That's what tone 40 certainty looks like. Tone 40 certainty.
Kids, don't you want to be like Tom? Here's what Scientologists actually eat during their insane detox. So, long story short, what you do is you go in there each
Business
day.
Insider, by the way. This is a Business Insider article.
They go in each day for 2 months, 3 months. I've been on it. I was on it for like 6 months. It never ended. And so Marcus was on it forever. But basically, it's about a month to 2 months. Every day you go in, you do a run for about 20 to 30 minutes. You take a bunch of vitamins beforehand, and then you go into
Shitloads of vitamins.
I know, and we'll get to that.
Loads.
And then you go into a sweat lodge for anywhere up to 5 hours, and you take breaks, but every day, that's what you do. So here's the real brief thing. Scientologists do a purification rundown when they join the church. Again, it's at the very beginning of the bridge to total enslavement. The detox is a vitamin cocktail with niacin. That's the main one, which we'll talk about, which, according to the religious founder, alleviates and prevents radiation sickness. They're also supposed to drink a blend of vegetable oils. And here's where it gets dangerous and why there's been deaths and suicides and people losing their mind and not getting any help whatsoever. So the detox comes from huge doses of vitamin cocktail. That's the main ingredient being niacin, which again, according to Hubbard, alleviates and prevents radiation sickness. In his book, which we have on the thumbnail, Clear Body, Clear Mind, that's the book that they sell you as part of this program. Hubbard recommends starting with doses of 100 milligrams and increasing to 5,000 milligrams over the course of the program. Want to know how much doctors recommend taking if needed? 15 milligrams. The Purif doses are so large, participants have revealed severe reactions like skin irritation, dizziness, and headaches. Here's the key right here. Hubbard says that this is just your body releasing poisons, or as they say in Scientology, what turns it on will turn it off. Let's talk about that for a minute, Marcus, because this is where I was going out of my mind. My skin turned red. Some people have had ooze come out of their skin, but that never happened to me, right? I'm sure you've seen that. I want to hear your experiences. But the worst that it got from me, bro, is just getting red. And then they reframe that as, because if you believe that drugs, sunburns, etc., are stored in your fatty tissues, then it can be justified as to why you're losing it and some bad shit's happening to you. Because what they said is that's your sunburn from when you were 10 years old, Doug, turning off. That's your acid flashback. That's the weed coming out of you, which is complete horseshit. But that's how they reframe this whole scam. Would you like to say anything on that, man? Well, Marcus, when you were going through it, what reactions did you have, and what did they tell you when you started questioning that, if you ever did?
Well, I had reactions like I had a really weird reaction where there was this little flaky metallic looking things coming out of my calf. That's probably your I can't hear you.
Out of your I know I'm purposely muting so I don't interrupt you. Out of your calf? Holy shit.
Yeah. Well, when I was a teenager, I was kind of a cutter. Like I cut stuff into my leg, and I'd come up. This is also going to be really weird to say, but I used to write my. I came up with a whole alternative alphabet to write my music and write my spells or whatever. And it was based off like Sumerian, but I changed the characters. So I had my own shit, and I wrote my name on my leg with a pin cap. Were you
tripping at this point from the drugs, or were you just?
Oh man, I was a heavy drug case as a teen too. So I was carving shit into my leg, and it looked like some weird pagan shit. Sorry. Freaked everybody out, and I would lift it up and be like, "Look at this."
That didn't
look
make
like
you
some satanic shit,
That didn't make you an illegal PC or at the beginning, or get them to question you. What did they think about that alone? Because they don't want cutters.
Well, they didn't know that
liability.
I had forgotten about that. The scar was gone. The scar had been gone for years. So, they didn't see that or anything. So but when I rubbed my leg, it was these little flaky things. And then the scar came back for just a little bit. And then I showed Travis, and it was sort of a moment of disbelief. It's like, what the fuck? So there is something to, I believe there's something to the shit coming out, like, but your body is a sponge. So like, that makes sense, but I don't think it happens the way Hubbard describes it.
Right, not to the degree. And there is actual scientific evidence that some stuff does come out, because your brother right here says, well, you could smell the chlorine in my sweat from. I can't say that I had anything like that happen, so I don't know if it's true or not, but there is some science on it, which we'll bust out a little bit later in the conversation. But that's interesting, Travis. Very interesting.
Yeah. Which is strange, because it was years since he had been in the water park, And I heard stories about people with bacon grease who worked offshore and were cooks. There was a cook that was sweating out bacon grease, man. And the whole sauna smelled like bacon. And that's the thing. Like, if you did a long session, I think so. If it was a long sweat session and somebody like had some weird shit like that going on, it would be a real funky ass smell in that sauna. You could tell something came out. What it was?
Sure, someone didn't just fart.
Oh, there was plenty of that too. There was a guy that was in there with me and Travis who was an elder gentleman, Cajun dude, and he would constantly be not letting him rip, but like he couldn't control it. He was old, and every time he'd be like, "Sorry," and we were stuck in that fucking box in the
Yes.
hot box with those
Yes.
farts, man. It just like, I remember going in the corner and just curling up, trying not to breathe as much, you know, it's just like breathing in his ass.
You want to take this from Jay Dice real quick, brother?
Yeah, sure. Jay Dice.
Marcus, how old were you? Young adults often cut themselves because they don't know where to put their pain, anger, anxiety, etc. It distracts from their inner pain for a bit. How old were you?
I would have been in ninth grade when I did that. So, but I got held back in the 7th grade. So what's the 7th grader? 12. So I would have been around 13 or 14. 14 probably. I'm born on January 21st. So in the middle of the year, I would always have my birthday of school. So like I would be smack dab in the middle of my peers age wise.
Was it because of your rough upbringing with your pops in particular?
Oh, I kind of dodged the question, didn't I? My therapist gets on to me for this all the time.
No, you didn't dodge it. I was just
well, I did in a way, because the reason probably the reason I was cutting was there was a whole lot of domestic violence going on.
I know. Sorry,
in fact, that same year, like one of the teachers that had seen my leg had seen bruises all over me and reported it to the Child Protection Services, and they came to the house, and it was my stepdad and I living there alone at the time. And, you know, I was too scared to say that
because your dad's going to beat the shit out of you, right?
Oh yeah. Well, or worse. I mean, he did try to kill me too, you know? So
sorry.
And that was even if I didn't say anything, I had already covered his ass with the CPS. And then after that, he fucking tried to kill me.
Really? That's fucking shitty, dude.
Yeah. I was out of the house by 16, like instantly. The school and the counselor, like they coordinated without my parents' knowledge, really, except for some of my mother. At the last minute, they needed her signature. They're like, yeah, he's getting emancipated. And she's like, okay. Then we sign here. And
and Jay Dice would like to remind you that you didn't spiral. You're here. And wait till you hear his full story on Saturday tomorrow, Jay Dice. It's like the very fact that this man is here is a miracle. And I think a lot of people that have been in for a while or had dramatic experiences, not everybody, it depends on the length of time, how much you pot commit, etc. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I barely freaking
are we doing tomorrow too?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. There Jazz Fest is going on, so like I'm not leaving the house.
Okay.
80,000 people walking in New Orleans right now.
Just to let you guys know real quick, since it came up, we've done 2 other interviews with Marcus. Please check them out if you have a chance before tomorrow, because we're going to finally tell his whole story. His videos were the only videos that I wasn't able to download because he's already told it once before the previous YouTube channel got shut down. But since this one's probably going to last, we're going to do it right and take you through that tomorrow. It'll probably take about 2 hours. It's a crazy, crazy story. Like one of the worst I've heard, dude.
Excuse me.
Nice. Speaking of burping, that's a perfect segue into what Tampa Brad has to say about the very program that we're talking about. And then I'm going to show you the other side. So let's just assume that what Hubbard said was true. The toxins really do come out. And you are kind of like, have you seen this guy before, by the way, Marcus? I mean, he looks like he's straight out of the Kaminsky Method. He looks exactly like...
Oh, I love that show. I hope, are they doing another one?
We got to show people what that is real quick. No, they're not, dude. It's done. The Kaminsky Method.
So good. So good. Y'all got to watch that. Y'all have to watch the Kaminsky Method. It's way better than what you're watching here. Don't go watch it right now, but watch it. It's good.
Just because of Haley Joel Osment and the Scientology theme. It's not the whole thing, but all 3 seasons they cover it. Michael Douglas and Haley Joel Osment plays
Hollywood,
the best,
the connection,
Hollywood
connection,
and Scientology. Yeah. Exactly.
It's not even really about, Scientology. It's if you like Michael Douglas and so I don't know, Alan Arkin and all these amazing actors. Rest
it's
in
an
peace,
incredible show.
It's
Plus the fact they had the best Scientology characterization ever by Haley Joel Osment, who was in The Sixth Sense. Remember, I See Dead People. And he's got real. He blimped up and he looks exactly like Tampa Brad, which we'll show you right now. Because he's going to share some wins from the program. This just came out a few months ago, and I just tell me if this guy does not freaking remind you of Haley Joel Osment in that.
Okay.
Are you guys ready? For those not familiar with Tampa Brad, Aaron's covered him a lot on his channel, or at least he used to give him a hard time. And he still keeps pumping away, trying to promote Scientology. And he doesn't even sound real to me. But here we go. So it says Scientologist speaks out about winning with Scientology, purification program, and survival rundowns. I'm going to skip to the main parts, but you got to hear
Oh
him
God, he does
burp at
kind
the
of
beginning.
resemble.
He does, doesn't he? Look at him, dude. Wait till you hear him. I mean, he's.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh yeah.
Tell me if this is a real guy, because he almost sounds like he's making it up. I know he's not.
If he is, he's a good actor.
He's not. He's a real Scientologist, and I know he pimps out his girl for OnlyFans, and he's just a complete lunatic. But it's just like you can't. He sounds phony. Listen to this.
All right.
Hey, what up? It's Tampa Brad, and in this video, I want to share with you some wins that I have gotten from
It's just such
being a
douche.
Scientologist and using the spiritual technology
Wow.
Spiritual
developed by L. Ron
technology.
Hubbard to improve my life. We're at the end of 2022. It's
By the way,
December.
real quick, Marcus,
Certainty.
there's very few people that will come out as Scientologists because they always
No
get
shit.
hammered, right? They
Oh,
come out every few
yeah.
months or whatever. This guy's been
And
out
then
for a
they'll go to
couple
their
years.
ethics officer like, oh,
I
I've got
know, but
SPs
this
everywhere.
dude, credit where credit's due, has been plowing for about 2 years, and the more heat he gets, the more his ego goes up, and the more he kind of puts these videos out. So here we go.
Wow.
December of 2022 right now. I'm actually, I had a couple minutes. Actually, I'm actually headed in to do some auditing right now, which is super fun. It's on a Saturday. And I stopped at a Starbucks and I figured I need to share some wins. I been having so
Hell
much good shit
yeah.
lately. I haven't even
Yeah, dude,
taken
tell
the
us.
time to make any videos or share wins. But
Damn it, I missed you, brother.
end of 2022, I wanted to just recap this year, what happened and what wins I got. So number one, I did a service called a excuse me.
See, there you just
confessional.
burped just like you. And he
Sound like
actually didn't
the
bother to
priest do,
re-record the
right?
video.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, but
Okay, so there he's talking about the auditing. Let's get to where he talks about the pure and cut through the bullshit.
Whew.
so from there, after that, I did the purification program, and this was just like, if you've seen any videos, I did earlier videos on the purification program, so I'm not going to go super into depth on that.
Hang in there, you got this,
video. I
Marcus.
have like
You
2
can
or
make
3
it through.
others where I talk about what it was, how it benefited me, what the long-standing results of it that I've been getting are. And it's December. I finished in like, I think I finished in.
I got to throw this guy on 1.25, bro. We're not,
I think I finished in August. Sounds right. So it's been like maybe 4 months since then. Whatever. My calendar math is bad. I think it's 4 months. I still have all the benefits that I had the day I finished purification. If anything, they've gotten better. Like my ability to.
Here's the thing, Marcus. When they talk about benefits and that Katie Lohman chick, when she was questioned by Andrew Gold, tell me about it. All Scientologists can say, and all I could say was that I felt good and I got wins, but I could never actually put into scientific terms what was actually happening. I just knew that I felt good.
Right.
And here, and he kind of says something similar. All Scientologists say this because they don't know what's happening.
What I've noticed, like this is probably the best way to put it, is because it's so hard to describe what's going on with your own body sometimes. Like it can be hard to put it into words. But what I would describe it as
when you
is
don't know what's
ability
happening.
to control my own body. Like I'm in control of what.
See, that's vague, and they don't give you what the end phenomena is going to be. What they're going for in Scientology, whether it's a purification rundown or an auditing grade or the OT levels, you can make up whatever wins you want. It's just the wins that you're going after, and they'll accept anything. So notice how vague what he's saying is, because he doesn't know that he probably damaged his body with 5,000 milligrams of niacin
in the heat,
in the heat for 5 hours a day. This can't be good for anybody. But it did create. Oh, I'll talk about it in a minute. Let's hear the rest of this fool.
Body's doing now. It's not controlling me. I'm controlling it on a daily basis. Like when I want to go to sleep, I go to sleep. Like I'm not like wired or I'm not like awake. Like I'm like, okay, I need to go to bed because I need to be up at this time, and go. I've also it definitely grooved me into a healthier eating pattern. And I also, my God, my ability to not crash during the day is unfucking believable. If you actually want the real, like, no jitters, no crash, just like smooth energy, it's not going to come from coffee. It's going to come from doing the purification program and getting the fucking drugs and toxins out of your body. That's how you get the no jitters, no crash in the afternoon. And I swear to God, I think I've taken a nap like on a Sunday just because I ate myself into a food coma one day while watching football.
Yeah, well, it looks like he's doing that. I'm not
exhausted.
By the way, how on earth are you typing at the same time while doing the stream? Are you telepathically communicating it? And it's that's pretty impressive.
I use exogenic cybernetic devices, lots of them.
Okay, I'm not going to pretend to know what that means. Now, let's get some.
I made it up.
Let's get some actual data on what the fuck is actually happening here, according to science, which you can find in Reckless Ben videos. How many of you guys have seen that infamous series that Reckless Ben did? I mean, how freaking good was that? These are two guys that went in undercover to Scientology, and this came out what, 2 or 3 years ago, and they're kind of the first people to really get in there. Oh, and another thing, Marcus, that guy Ben actually went under. He's like a perfect example of why I tell people don't just go fuck around with it and take the personality test, because you can see in the video how he gets so spaced out. He comes out and his buddy's like, he's explaining to his buddy, I think they fucking did something with my mind. And it took him a little while to kind of come out of it. And he even knew, of course, it was a cult. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally.
So this is episode 3 called The Cleanse. Like I said, guys, if you haven't seen it, first of all, we definitely have to give this an upvote right out of the gate. If you haven't seen Reckless Ben,
I worry about him though. I worry about Ben because he's reckless.
He's fine, dude. I mean, if
but
you've seen the other videos he's done,
he's reckless. They went into Scientology. They could have.
I know. I'm surprised they didn't do something to him.
He said it a couple of times. It was pretty. Yeah. If y'all haven't watched these guys, y'all need to go check them, give them a sub, like their videos, because they did something that was very ballsy. Took a lot of like mental fortitude, a lot of courage. Just a lot of courage and a lot of a commitment to stay with it and to get as much information as they could. They even got these glasses from Snapchat that were basically undetectable cameras.
Even though they did find him, remember, it's really suspenseful. If you guys haven't seen it, I don't want to give it away, but the balls on this guy, man, Jesus.
They were able to show on their channel things that no one had ever seen before from a public perspective.
This is true.
Being introduced to Scientology by Scientologists.
And they took a hit for all of us because they could have easily gotten bucked with. I can't believe they didn't do something to these guys, man. But then again, maybe Scientology is going to hit them.
They played the long game too.
I was just going to say that. My man, I was just going to say that. So check this out, guys, and I'll fast forward to the parts that are necessary, but this is such a great video.
Part 3. Here we have the chart of Scientology, and right at the bottom, we've got this thing called a purification process.
And we showed that to you earlier, guys. These guys are even thorough by showing you where you start on the bridge.
It's the first thing that you have to do before you can do any of this other nonsense. Because Scientology is the fastest growing religion, there were a lot of people that were also interested in this program.
Great.
So first they showed us some videos of people who have gone through the cleanse to tell us about their experience.
My mind was definitely clear and I can focus. I can see colors.
Okay, I don't want to get hit with copyright, so let me skip to the important part here. Okay,
nice.
Thank you. I'm learning, brother. And here we go, guys. Here's the real science behind: does it store in your fatty tissues or not?
Okay. But we don't trust you, so we decided to call you out. Again, just like we did in episode 2. What do you think science says about sweating out toxins? I don't know, Ben. How about you show me? Here's what a simple Google search of "can you sweat out toxins" looks like.
Can you actually sweat out toxin? The simple answer to that is no, you cannot.
So it's going to be half an hour here and then 4.5 hours sauna.
You be in there for 4.5 hours?
Yeah.
It's healthy to be in the sauna for 4.5 hours a day. Like, guess what? Okay.
4.5 hours yesterday? What the fuck are you talking about, Holmes? By the way, that guy, Marcus, ends up joining. I mean, he really wants to join. And Ben and them, they say, hey, man, let us get you out of here. You know, you don't need to pay the $2,500. Come with us. This poor guy is just looking for help. He feels like he smokes too much weed. Again, I don't want to give the spoilers away, but you got to watch this series. $2,000, Holmes?
Simple answer to that is no, you cannot.
So it's going to be half an hour here and then 4.5 hours sauna.
You be in there for 4.5 hours?
Yeah.
It's healthy to be in the sauna for 4.5 hours a day. Like, guess what? Okay.
Totally healthy.
This is a study from Harvard. Do not spend more than 20 minutes at a time in a sauna. First-time users should spend a maximum of 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah, they want you to do this program every day for 21 days, every day. No breaks.
It's more than 21 days. I know Marcus did it for longer than that. And like I said, I've been on it for 6 months and people have been on it for longer. You'll be lucky if you finish this in 21 days.
At all. Not a single break.
The purification is supposed to come out through your sweat.
Yeah.
The amount of toxins that you actually sweat out are so minuscule that they mean nothing. It will be something like 1/10,000th of a microgram in the entire sweat from your body. It's literally nothing.
So technically they're right. You actually can sweat out toxins. It's just a little weird though because they advertise it a little bit differently in the program.
We had one person who had like a lot of chemicals. The towels were like had like some blue prints at the end of the day
Coming from the skin.
coming from the body. It was
That's terrifying, by the way, Marcus, how they casually admit that.
That guy
I
was
mean,
a Smurf.
that guy was either a Smurf or he was suffering something where he probably needs some medical help, because that can't be good. That's not the chlorine.
Yeah, I
probably
got this
coming out
blue
of his body.
shit coming out of me. I don't know, man. What do you think?
What's this
I
fucking
think
blue
I'll
shit,
go to
man?
the Scientology place. They might be able to help me with that.
I paid $2,500. I was in here for 4.5 hours every day, and I got this blue shit. What the fuck, man? Give me my money back, Holmes. All right, we'll skip a little bit more of this. This is just so ridiculous.
Supposed to take in here is niacin. According to doctors, the daily
So here's the shit they take, and what we talked about earlier.
amount the adult males are supposed to take 16 milligrams a day. Look at this. According to this book,
This is how ridiculous this is. 5,000 a day.
that's 250 times as much as you're supposed to take. Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but to me, that sounds like the definition of false advertising.
Dude, why haven't they been sued for this yet?
Well, it's because
Good
they
question.
believe that this is going to make them better. Remember, these guys call themselves a religion, Michael.
Yeah, but that shouldn't matter. Just because they believe it to be true doesn't.
That's a great question. Can you possibly answer for the audience, Marcus, why they haven't been sued? Because that comes up all the time. If they're clearly practicing medicine without a license, why have they not been shut down long ago?
They're not practicing medicine without a license.
Explain.
Well, it's vitamins. It's just nutritional supplements, and they're not required to take them. And if you look at all of the shit you signed for Narconon, it's all in the paperwork. It's all done by lawyers. So it's
Ding, 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 ding. Because people, Marcus, on that last video that I did with Samantha, who worked there and went through a hell story to get out, they go, how on earth can the U.S. government allow this continue, let alone the governments of the world?
It's all legal shit.
It's exactly what you just said. They have the best lawyers on the planet.
The way they write the contracts, like if you were to say, well, I was at a locked-in facility, an inpatient facility, and they were telling me to take my vitamins and telling me to take 5,000 milligrams of niacin. Let me tell you, a niacin flush, the first time you have one, even on a low milligram dosage, is nothing to sort of balk at. Like it's like, what the hell? And then you're going to go get in a sauna while you're doing that.
And don't forget the CalMag, the lovely CalMag drink, calcium
just-
and magnesium you have to drink, which the whole thing's actually kind of disgusting. That's a bunch of oil that you put in your body after you do each day.
But they would argue that, you don't have to do that. You can leave. You can go, you can leave. And in the
What do you mean by
paperwork
that, Mark? What do you mean by that, brother?
Well, you can either not take the supplements, or you can.
They give you the option not to take the supplements. I thought that was absolutely part of the program. Okay.
No, it is absolutely part of the program, but legally in the paperwork that you sign and that the registrar gives you, it states that they cannot make you do anything. You're doing all this on your own free will.
Yeah, exactly.
And so immediately, if you get a case, they're like, the Scientology attorneys will send that shit over, be like, he agreed to do all this.
Exactly right. Thanks for clarifying that. So that's the answer, guys. They're simply literally above the law, or let's just say they have their ass covered when it comes to the law, so they know how to kind of get around loopholes.
Right.
They're still here today, and I'm going to show you Narconon Arrowhead, where back in 2013-ish, they had 3 high-profile deaths within a 9-month period. And again, how could they possibly not shut it down? Isn't that quote-unquote murder? So let's check out this segment real quick. And the Narconon Arrowhead still exists, Marcus, despite all the crap that they went through. And doesn't Kathy Steiner run that fucking thing, or do I have that wrong?
Which one? Arrowhead?
Yeah.
Not Arrowhead. She does.
Which one is she at?
New Life Retreat.
Oh, that sounds even more Orwellian than that of A Scanner Darkly.
Yeah, that's in Louisiana. They do Ojai, and which is Narconon Ojai, and then they do New Life Retreat, which is in Baton Rouge.
By the way, Kathy Steiner's the one that me and Marcus talk about a lot, about the Ventura mission. She was the mission holder, and she was one half of the couple that I call ruthless hippies. Try to work out that contradiction. Okay, so here's Narconon Arrowhead. And like I said, they still exist today, and they have these facilities all over the world. As we're speaking, there's probably someone going online, a concerned mother or father, that wants their kid to get off drugs. They see the name Narconon, which sounds so similar to Narcotics Anonymous or something that they heard before. The program claims to have like an 80 or 90% success rate, which is impossible for any drug rehabilitation program. And they have no idea that they're getting into Scientology. It's completely hidden on their websites. Again, how did they get away with that? Probably legalese, right, Marcus?
Yeah. Oh, how did they get away with what?
Well, on their websites, they don't say that it's related to
Oh,
Scientology.
yeah. It's all vetted by their attorneys and stuff.
Of course, of course. So here we go on this news report.
The family files a lawsuit against a controversial treatment facility near McAllister. 20-year-old Stacy Murphy of Owasso was found dead at Narconon Arrowhead in July while undergoing treatment. 2 News reporter Sarah Goldenberg has been following this story for months. Sarah?
Karen, tonight we hear from Stacy's mom for the first time. She helped pick out the rehab program. And now, after losing her daughter, she's fighting against it. From the outside, Narconon Arrowhead looks peaceful.
And then, I saw it was right there on the lake. I thought, oh, that looks like a real nice place.
But it's become the center of controversy after 3 of its patients died in the last 9 months while in the facility's care. Now Narconon Arrowhead, a rehab program with links to Scientology, faces 3 lawsuits, the latest filed on behalf of Stacy Murphy.
Well, the allegations are that, again, that there was misrepresentation in what Narconon is about.
The lawsuit alleges wrongful death, negligence, and violation of the Oklahoma Consumer Protection Act. Stacy's mom, Tanya White, says Stacy came home for a day after 7 weeks in the program. She dropped her off at Narconon Arrowhead Thursday night.
I hugged her and had no idea that was the last time that I was going to be able to hug her.
Friday morning, she got the call. Stacy had overdosed and died.
I just couldn't believe it was happening. Sometimes I still can't believe it. Still can't believe she's gone.
Her parents want answers. They say Narconon officials told them when Stacy returned that night, she was high on opiates, but staff left her alone in her room for hours, where she later died.
That somebody wouldn't have the common sense, knowing somebody's in an OD situation, to pick up a phone and call 911.
Stacy's family wants Narconon Arrowhead held accountable.
Tell the truth. Give us the facts. Let the chips fall where the chips fall, so changes can be made.
That was his freaking daughter, dude, who died. Like, how old was she? She's beautiful. She had her whole life ahead of her, and he was handling it so well. I would be unbelievable. I don't even know how I'd handle that, man. Can you imagine losing your daughter to that?
I've seen, on TV, when TV was a thing, people losing their kids to shit, even at shootings and whatnot.
Yep.
And the parents, I've noticed that there is sometimes a difference in men and women's responses, which makes it makes sense. Tragic stuff happens. You go into fight or flight mode, and we all have our own endogenous chemicals that pump into our bloodstreams constantly once that event happens. And if it's something as severe as losing a child, it kicks in probably a much different way than, say, a wreck, So like, I totally get what you're saying about, like, how could he be so cool and calm and collected, but that may be and because it's his daughter, he wants to make damn sure that that they're held accountable so that it doesn't happen to anyone else.
But he knows they're not going to be too. I mean, they exist in 2023 at the same location, Marcus.
What date is this? When
that was about 10 years ago, 2013-ish.
Okay.
Lady, did you this is the kind of anecdotes. Marcus, I have so many stories about just going and volunteering. There was one in Manhattan Beach, I believe. I might have the beach wrong, but it was right on the beachfront. And I was going there to be a good Samaritan by volunteering. They had sex going on, drug addicts that would sneak aside. Like, I got to talk to these people, and the shenanigans that were going on there, it was really, there was no control and nobody was getting off anything. And I'm telling them, I was there to share my wins about Scientology, because often when they get off the Narconon program, they have nowhere to go, or if they feel like they got wins out of it, they go under, they get hypnotized, they often become staff members. So I was there to tell them how great the state of Claire was. Oh, you should definitely get into Scientology after this. So I was like pimping to these people, and bro, they were
there
just such
as
a
an
wreck.
ambassador is what you were there.
Yeah, but I thought that's part of the ego boost, and that's part of, I'm an OT, and I'm just doing my mission to help out these poor little people. And I had no idea what their reality really was, man. If I did, I would have gotten them the fuck out of there. We sent, okay, so there was one in Manhattan Beach, right, Travis? They had this gorgeous property that was literally right on the boardwalk. And I'm thinking, how the fuck are these drug addicts, paying for this? Obviously, their parents were. It's a nice facility, but everything was just really, as they would say in the cult, downtone and dark. And everybody was, like I said, fucking everybody else. And they were doing drugs. They would tell me, yeah, dude, the program's not really working. I'm doing drugs. I'm going to go score and shit. I'm like, fuck, should I tell the staff here, or should I just be cool with the homies and shit? Because I was like there to get in with them, Yeah, you should go up to the state of clear after you get that handled. I gotta get out of here, man. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
So now that you guys have seen all that, the final slide that we have here, then we'll go into questions and we'll roll out because the perfect 56 minutes.
No, we're doing great.
We're just trucking right along.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked you guys, how did they get these kind of reviews, mixed reviews, and not really anything in between? It's either all good or all bad. And answer this for me, Marcus. So these are some of the reviews on Narconon Arrowhead. Is it being shared? Yes. Obviously, it doesn't have a very high rating. That's a 3.8. God damn it.
Was that Arrowhead? Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find the shit. Can I go back? Oh man. Shit. I have everything blown up, so I just lost it. Let's see.
You find it. I'm gonna say that that guy that Travis is referring to that we sent to Manhattan, I could be wrong, but there was a point where John refused to work with me on Renos anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I did Div 6 stuff with Monica whenever they started moving. Okay, there it is. No, that's fine. You found it.
Well, I wanted to show you guys. Fuck, I can't believe I lost that page. Let's see. Directions, website, see photos. I wanted to show you the fucking reviews because some people are like, yeah, it helped out with my, fentanyl.
No, just go to Google reviews. Click Google reviews.
So what would I type in?
You don't type nothing. It's right there on the right. Google reviews, 3.8, 69 Google reviews.
Right here? Okay, yep. Perfect. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, and then go.
Okay, here we go. So 69 reviews, 3.8, and this is at Arrowhead Loop.
Yeah, you can
in Oklahoma. Now, Christian, just 5 months ago, with 5 freaking upvotes. By the way, we have to tell people that a lot of these, of course, are going to be Scientologists and not troll accounts, but sock puppet accounts, whatever you call it. These are not necessarily real, but I believe some of them are. Narconon Arrowhead helped me a lot. I was addicted to meth, and doing their program helped me. And I graduated, and now he's probably working on staff. I'm now clean and sober, and I've been more productive than I've ever been before. This is exactly what a program Scientologist would sound like coming out of here if the program is quote unquote successful. The staff here is nice, and I met a lot of good friends here. I hope more people will come here so those who are struggling with addiction can be here, and the program will help them to stop doing drugs and have a clean and sober life just like me. Carrie, 6 months ago, paid $30,000 for treatment of addiction. The problem, I was suffering from a mental breakdown. They would not listen to me. Gee, you don't say. They persuaded me to stop my depression. Here we go, guys. They persuaded me to, I talked about this with Sean Atwood. He said that he lost a buddy because they took him off their medications because they don't believe in psych drugs. And this is often what kills patients of Narconon. They persuaded me to stop my depression, anxiety medications. Therefore, my depression became even more out of control. Gee, you put 2 and 2 together, Scientology. Don't you think that's what would happen? I stayed for 8 days. During this time, I was subjected to a tremendous amount of unhealthy conditions. My room, once I was released from quarantine, was a complete disaster. Beds unmade. This is the kind of shit I was talking to you about that I saw at the Manhattan place. Beds unmade, food stuck to the furnishings, no bedding. The shower has a previous person's items in it, along with mold and tiles falling in the shower. This is a drug rehab program. I don't know if you guys have been to other ones, but they're usually pretty fancy. They're tranquil, so you can destimulate, and you don't see any of this kind of crap in general. The carpet was littered with personal items as well. I tried to discuss it with the counselors, head director, and assistant director. I filled out a grievance as well. It's probably like a knowledge report that you write. All dealt with by ignoring my request to speak to someone regarding the situation. The kitchen/dining area, coffee machine, drink dispensers are not in. So it goes on and on. Now, here we go. I would like my money returned to me. Yeah, good luck with that. For the simple fact that they cannot help me. I have major depression disorder and PTSD. This is in no way the type of treatment that any individual needs for any type of recovery. Can I upvote this? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's get that other one too while we're
There
at it.
you go.
Can I guess you can't downvote them?
No, it's
Okay. Let's see a couple more of these. That's very depressing.
only positive.
At least that person got out of there alive. Some people don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, 5 years ago, notice the difference. We have the last one was 6 months ago, and apparently we don't have any from 5 years ago.
$53 a week, Doug. That would be me and Travis.
Where'd you see that?
L. Ron Hubbard.
Oh, is he?
That's what we were making, Doug. Yeah,
that's actually good money, isn't it?
Thank you, Goldie. Yeah, that's pretty good. Normally it's like 40. And that's every 2 weeks.
And Hubbard just commented earlier that he doesn't know kind of why he's here, and he keeps taking the hits. We love you, man. We know you're not really Elron, but god damn, do you do a good impersonation of him?
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's pretty great, honestly. It's
Check out a couple more of these. We'll end off with some questions, and then this has been an awesome stream. We try to keep these in an hour, my friends, and then the Saturday, which we'll do once in a while, like tomorrow. Those are the longer ones.
Travis has corrected me. $49. Okay, here's your $49.
How did you guys even survive? Someone's going to ask the question, how would you even survive on $49? But keep that in mind. Wait. Keep that in mind while I just run through one or two more, and then I want to ask you that.
Okay.
I feel safe and under excellent care at Narcan Arrowhead. The facility itself was tranquil, green, calming, and the staff were so professional and caring that I actually felt really sad when I was done with the program and it was time for me to depart. I made friends with people of all blah, blah, blah. Oh, she even took little pictures. 16. You know that 15 of those are Scientologists. All right, a month ago, here we go. So they're not in order. This program saved my life. I was fighting fentanyl addiction. I'm glad I came here and got the help I needed. Everyone here is like family. I love everyone here. I'll be forever grateful for what they gave me and for not giving up on me. Even though I wanted to give up, they never did. This place will forever hold a special place in my heart. I have now joined staff and been trapped for the next billion years. And then let's do one more here. So this is 5 months ago. Let's see if we can get a negative review here because this is just all bullshit. Okay, here we go. This is probably one of the most honest ones. I wrote a novel, but Google won't let me upload. I probably use a curse word, and that's where I'll try to fix it. I know, right, guys? The censorship is outlandish. Just know there are hundreds of reasons not to go here. Preach it. The building is in disarray, and the plaster of those lovely pictures is that the facility looks remotely like it does in those photos. I knew I was duped about 24 hours into my experience when I was still in my sweaty clothes that I walked in with on my back, was in withdrawal, and I don't know what that word is. Town sweat badly in your sleep. I was left in this state for nearly 48 hours until a staff member personally had to make another staff member do her job. And when I asked for more bread, and 24 hours later, I was like, are we getting more bread?
Staff member was like, okay, look, this person can't type worth a shit. I'll read it. So, because I'm familiar with it. All right. So,
please.
So, and when I asked for more bread and like 24 hours later, I was like, we were getting more bread. Staff member was like, yeah, at some point, but I can't go get it now because I can't leave you alone. And so I suppose there was not another soul in the building that could break 75 yards from the kitchen to where I was at. Bring bread, not
he
bread.
could have done himself in 3 minutes, but then all brainwashed by the book. He would take a walk and he get bread so I can make myself a job. I don't want to make
myself a PB and J and Nate Dry
cereal.
cereal.
And P.S. Many years ago, rumor has this place ran like clockwork and housed supposedly 100 students. Hell yeah! I wish I could log into another account.
He's probably like a blue collar worker who had a problem with drinking or something, you know. And like,
so it seems all I hear, the 5 all-star reviews are probably real.
Yeah,
because honest, it wouldn't have been quote unquote fun if I had that place 100 held clients. I can't read what this guy's saying, but I assume he didn't like the experience.
Right.
Okay. So long story short, this company is not a rehab. It's a Scientology based program. Immediate upload.
Yep.
This company is cold hearted and it does not see you as a human that needs help with addiction. Instead, will attempt to brainwash you with Scientology to be a member of the church and pay funds to it consistently. There's 2 sentences that summed up the entire thing perfectly. It's exactly what it is. Damn.
L. Ron Hubbard says it was 2014 when I banned him, which means that I may have published that first video in 2014.
Can you unban him? I think he's definitely worked
he's
through
unbanned.
the conditions.
He's unbanned.
You're unbanned, sir.
And Travis did go. The reason he knew 49 was because he went and looked at his statements. I saw that in the chat.
Yep.
Yep.
Guys, we're running on the hour. That was awesome how we were able to actually get through that.
Backflash.
If you have any questions, fire them now. And the way to do that, we don't charge money and we don't run ads here. So if you have a question, just type question in bold for future reference, or you can just type @Dazed but Not Confused so I can see it in the orange glow or whatever. Let's see what some of the comments here are before we roll out of here. I'm eating crackers with deli turkey and cheese, not bread. Good to know. Weird Debbie. Save some for me. Jay, nice to see you. I haven't seen you in the chat before, so we're looking forward to seeing you
Scotland.
again.
Nice.
I know. That's awesome. And all of you traders that went over to Kellycopters, we'll deal with you later. We have a whole ethics section in Discord, so please join the server, and we're going to throw your ass in jail over there. I'm totally kidding. She's fucking awesome, and I'm actually going to go watch that video as soon as we're done.
Thanks for the question, Jay Dice. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Earlier, the question.
Did we cover it, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to scroll. Marcus, before we roll out, and while I scroll through some of the comments here, can you tell people briefly, because we actually skipped this, what was, having seen everything that you just saw and having done it yourself, what the fuck do you make looking back at it now of your Purif experience now versus what you thought was happening then, if there's any difference at all? And just speak honest, dude. You can even say it was good. Just tell me what you really think.
Yeah. So at that time, like we're talking about for me, because I'm 42 and me and Travis were in our 20s when we did it. Like I was on the road a lot, and I'd gotten myself into, from 16 to 20, whatever age I was pretty screwed up. And I did not want to go into a medical facility like a mental ward. And that's basically where I probably easily could have ended up. So instead of going into a mental ward, like this was something that I felt like I could possibly escape if I need to. Mental wards wards are pretty fucking difficult to get out of, especially state wards. So, and I learned that later in life, but we're talking about my perspective as at that time was I need to get a solution to the problem that I'm having right now so that I can live the rest of my life without this, these altered perceptions and altered reality. And I'm willing to give anything a chance. And some of the things like that Travis and I experienced were, it seemed pretty legit. Like the metallic stuff coming off of my skin, and then chlorine, and then there were some things from some other people who had been on the rundown with us. Because I mean, I did it for 6 months. I did that shit for 6 months.
6 months? Was that the very first time, Marcus, you were on that for 6 fucking months? Were you trying to get off of that freaking thing, and they kept? What was the reason they kept?
Well,
giving you?
no,
and everybody else was graduating, right? You just watch people graduate.
They didn't really do graduations per se at the Baton
No,
Rouge
I mean
Mission,
you watch people go through it faster than you while you were on it for 6 months. That's really long.
I was more of a proponent to keep going. Like the way out is through. Dominic and I would talk, and the way out is through. So
the phrase, I'm sorry to interject, Marcus, but that's an important phrase you just threw out. There's a famous phrase in Scientology whenever you're traumatized and you want to stop, which I'd tell my auditor to go fuck himself, let me out of the room. I said that constantly. What you learn early on is the famous phrase, the way out is the way through. What turns it on will turn it off. So Scientology processes, including the Purif, are designed to activate things, in this case, drug residuals, but mostly in the auditing, it's activating your unconscious mind. So of course you're going to turn stuff on and be traumatized. They say that's a good thing. And if you keep going, you're eventually going to get that win. What really happens is you go beyond the mind's natural capacity, you kind of crack, and that dissociation or depersonalization can create a floating feeling, a high, a win. And that's what's happening. That's why you get further out of your body, which they reframe depersonalization as exteriorization. So the more you dissociate, the more you get. I mean, guys, I felt like I was on another planet looking in on this world when I got out. And I could feel that dissociation for the first time, and all the multiple personality disorder and whatever you want to call it. It only became obvious to me. I was like, oh my God, I am nowhere near reality. I feel like way back here. Anyway, sorry to interrupt, brother.
No, that's absolutely right on. Like when you leave, it's like
It hits you right.
The depersonalization is hard core. You know, it's like coming off a trip. It's like coming off.
Yeah,
of
it's exactly how I describe
psychedelic
it.
trip.
I said I was on LSD for 10 years. That's the only way I could describe it. So true, lady. What you learn early on is to lie about your wins and get off the process. Yeah, because you know that you're going to have correction lists after a while, and finally it just gets easier to say, yeah, I have wins. And you
Eventually, all
convince
you do is
yourself. You
lie.
really do. That's exactly right.
Eventually, all you do
You
is
make up.
lie.
Looking back at it, bro, I was making up memories and convincing myself that they were true just so I could get out of the fucking session.
Yeah, totally.
And since they're charging you by the hour,
spec checks are the infamous for that. Like, I mean, it's like,
Exactly.
tell me what you want me to write, and I'll write it.
We're going to cover that tomorrow specifically in your story because you have something to say on that, how you were made to write stuff that, let's just say, was not only not true, but
no, it's terrible.
I know, that's disgusting. So we'll leave it on a cliffhanger there. Guys, I mean, the hour goes by so fast, but I like keeping these,
Now
short
we're 12
and sweet.
over the hour.
Yeah, that's fine. We don't have to keep it on an hour.
We don't have another program after this or segment, so it's okay.
No, but I can.
This one.
This would be a good time to announce what's going on. I like it because we can cover the more controversial shit. Oh, we can actually bring up some of the ideas that people had for the Saturday segment because I asked them to. Let me.
You could try to crowdsource a name for it because I don't recommend that.
No,
Sorry,
I just
guys,
got their opinion, bro. It's totally fine. Stop hating on them. So the last one that we did, let's see if we can pull up some stuff here on because we asked what's the name of the Saturday one that we'll do once in a while, and I don't think Suck My Dick Saturday, the one I suggested, was going to fly, so we had to come up with something else. And indeed we did have some interesting.
And so far, audience, I've agreed to do this Fridays. Like me and Doug Fridays at 4 in my time. I'm good. Like for an undetermined amount of time. I did not agree to Saturdays, but
you're not bot committed. I'm just saying, whatever you want to roll in.
I'll go to tomorrow because of Jazz Fest.
Okay, how about
come up with something?
Someone said, "How about sidebar Saturdays?" I like
that. Reminds me of an old bar we used to play.
Well, it's also in conjunction with Tony and his reporting on what he's doing on the Masterson trial and how he got called to
what
a
is
sidebar.
A sidebar?
It's where you get called to, I'm no attorney, but it's where you get called to discuss shit between the attorneys so that everybody else doesn't have to hear it. Yeah, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, guys.
Well,
I just watched My Cousin Vinny the other day for like the 20th time on Prime Video.
It's a great movie.
And I'm about that. My understanding of the law is about as much as him at the beginning of that movie. That is a great movie.
I think you might be overestimating your understanding of law.
Thank you. Mark, fuck you. Marcus, need more music. Much love. I'm going to definitely delete that comment after you just said that. Your intro outro makes me want to Lindy Hop. By the way, your intro, the outro that we're going to show you and the intro, he made that. And I mean, what fucking skill that is. You got a lot of high remarks on that one. How about Shakedown Saturdays? Interesting. Shakedown
possibly we can think about it. Yeah, that's good.
There's some other ones too if I hit new, but that's good enough. And also at the bottom one, this is the best comment. Just checked out the Gotti trailer. We talked about John Travolta in Gotti. If you guys haven't seen it and you can get it for free, don't pay for it. It is the most absurd movie ever.
If we do I'd rather do early, like Saturday morning, like cartoon type shit, you know.
What? Sure. Are you talking about tomorrow?
Well, yeah, tomorrow. Well, no, not necessarily tomorrow. But I'm saying if you want to do, if there's a segment to do that we could do, that would be Saturdays. I prefer to be earlier. That way, I have the rest of my Saturday.
Let's just keep it to because it's already enough doing 2 for now.
And yeah. Irma's got a good idea. Like if we do a segment, we could do a 2-hour segment on Saturday earlier.
Perfect. By the way, Marcus, you just triggered something. I just want to say, guys, it was not my fault that I did not show up yesterday. Alex's birthday was the other day, and we usually do the Thursdays at 4 or at 2 p.m. And he sent me a Facebook message a couple hours before saying he was a little under the weather. So I don't know if he's hungover or whatever, but I will always be here. I have to be dead to not show up. So that was a little disappointing, but because I was looking forward to that show, but we're going to do it next Thursday. And if he flakes on that one, fucking serious ethics, right? I'm going to set L. Ron Hubbard on him, like in the chat. because that one's going to be fucking awesome.
Saturday, more like sell a book day.
Sell a book day Saturday. That has a nice ring to it.
No,
I like that. You don't think so?
Work.
Hey, you guys
Travis
know
would work.
me and Alex have a bromance, so I'm entitled to throw him
Well,
under
we
the
can
bus.
have
If he stands me up,
actually
I
like
can
that.
get a little
Work.
bitchy. I was ready to go. He had me watch his video the other
Put the
night and
work
do
in.
homework and stay up late. And then, I woke up an hour before. I was ready to go. But no, look, dude, it was his birthday. He was probably hammered. He's forgiven. Okay.
Well,
I think
c'est
we
la
covered
vie.
everything. Say la vie. And
Thank you, everyone.
guys, enjoy the
It's
rest
been
of the
nice
weekend.
chat.
Please show up on Saturday. So real quick, I got off track there. Thursdays at 2 p.m. is me and Alex. Fridays is called Backflash Friday, which is what this is. Every Friday and Thursday at 2 p.m.
Don't listen to him. It's just called Backflash.
Maybe there'll be a Saturday. Either Monday or Tuesday of next week, Mark Turry's coming back for part 2, where we're going to explore the complicated world of theological stances part 2.
Oh,
And
shit.
that one's going to be fucking
I
dope,
love that
guys,
guy.
because he's so cool, isn't he? And
Yeah,
Marcus,
man,
you
I
know
love
what,
watching
man?
his shit.
He reaches out and, he does his homework. I don't have to, unlike you, I don't have to, wait for you, wonder if you're going to show up. Like, the dude is a total professional, and he gives his time and his knowledge completely for free. You guys are in for a treat with that one, because this guy fucking comes prepared. But I like your style too, Marcus. You're more laid back. It's just totally different. You have no knowledge to offer, so you just got to, be stoned. It's all we each have. Our
Right.
own
Just
style.
like the first 3 that we recorded that are gone now forever, that had an immense amount of resources in the description that I provided.
Since you're going to go there, I'm going to just definitely end off the stream. I cannot believe you said that live. Bye, guys.